Second one for Holmgren. It rims out. Brown grabs it. 7 seconds left. Westbrook, 5 seconds. They're down by 1. Gordon got it! Aaron Gordon with a deep shot. Williams, three-quarter court. No good. The Nuggets steal game 1. That's a winner for Aaron Gordon. 121.
If you were wondering how the Nuggets were going to show up to game 1 against the Oklahoma City Thunder after playing a long 7-game series against the Clippers, you got your answer, and it looks like we have a series already. Nuggets officially steal game 1. It goes all the way down to the wire, and it ends on a clutch Russell Westbrook pass, a clutch Aaron Gordon 3. Couple of things I'm going to talk about on this pod, positives and negatives. Right? Just concerns and things that teams could be optimistic about as well. I'm going to do that for the Thunder. I'm going to do it for the Nuggets. Also going to talk about some quick takeaways from both teams. So, Jokic with the 42 and 22. And even though I'm rooting for the Thunder here, and I'm definitely still standing strong on that take that I think the Thunder will still take it in 6, I was always on the boat of Jokic is the MVP this season, and even though the voting is already done before the playoffs even started, this is just another example of why whoever has Jokic as the MVP doesn't look stupid right now, even though Shea had a great game as well. So, Aaron Gordon, 22 points, 14 rebounds, perfect from the free throw line, 50% from 3. I talked about that concern on the last pod previewing this playoff series. Talked about how that could be a concern for the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially because of how well he shot it all season. Westbrook couldn't buy a 3, but obviously his aggression and just his mentality and just everything that Westbrook shows us basically his whole career is just a massive problem for the Thunder. Christian Braun, just absolutely excellent draft pick. I've been a Christian Braun fan since the moment this dude joined the team, since they picked him in the draft. He wins the national title and comes to the Denver Nuggets, and they win a championship the same year. Had a smaller role compared to what he has right now, and being that KCP replacement in the starting lineup, he has just made it a seamless change in rotation for these guys. Just Christian Braun, man, the off-ball stuff, the on-ball pressure on defense, the constant activity, the energy, the shot making, just his ability to finish through contact and just get these tough and ones, tough baskets, scrapping for loose balls. This guy is a winning player, and a lot of people have messaged me telling me, oh my God, this guy Christian Braun is so underrated, and there's a lot of people that are late to the party, but nice to see that he's getting his dues. Jamal Murray didn't really have a good game from an efficiency standpoint. He did enough to help them win this game, that's for damn sure, and we'll talk about that on the concerns and positives section of this pod. Michael Porter Jr., I know he's battling through a shoulder injury, so definitely not going to be hard on him. He's going through it with that shoulder, but that could really make OKC's job a little bit easier down the stretch. First of all, on the quick takeaways, Shea was awesome in this game. He definitely did his job. Had a rough second and third quarter, but for the most part, he had a great game. And honestly, he did everything you could ask for. He basically did his job. And it really was up to the other guys at that point. Alex Caruso, incredible game by him. Just, he might have been OKC's MVP last night with the steals, the blocks, the crazy, timely scoring from him as well. Just like, we know he's capable of this, but, you know, it just comes at a time where they need him most. And if Caruso doesn't have this game, this could have been really ugly for the Thunder, even though obviously they found themselves with a comfortable lead. But Caruso, man, just crazy block after crazy block, and then just steal after steal after steal. This guy was incredible. And if not for the Shea, like, big game, the 33, 10, and 8, you could easily give the game ball to Caruso if you're the Thunder in the locker room. And obviously, if this ended up in a win. If this was any other team that lost a game where their role player goes off the way Caruso did, you're thinking, well, we're probably cooked because not going to get many of those, right? But the Thunder, as everyone talks about about this team, they're so deep that if you've watched them long enough, for any Thunder fans that are out there, you guys know that these performances, like the one we saw from Alex Caruso, they are possible from any player on this lineup. And that means Lou Dort could have a game like this. Even Aaron Wiggins could have a game like this. Cason Wallace has a game like this in his bag, potentially. Obviously, Jalen Williams, who I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Chet Holmgren, potentially. And look, man, like Chet, he has his hands full. A lot of people are talking about he got exposed because of those missed free throws and, the foul trouble and, the age, right? Like people, that's the main knock on the Thunder. It's the youth, the inexperience. But he's got his hands full guarding someone that nobody in the league can guard. So this whole thing about like Jokic is exposing Chet, Jokic exposes everybody. Obviously, Jokic is going to have his way like 90% of the time, but there's a lot of good possessions where Chet's getting deflections, he's blocking shots, he's getting timely rebounds, he's getting good steals, he's impacting the game, helps turn defense into offense, and that's going to be on the concern portion of this for the OKC side of things. So I don't want to kind of give away too much before I get into that part, but just to the point about the free throw moment, when Chet got to the free throw line, because I've watched Chet for a long time, multiple years, I knew that he was at least going to miss one of two. And it's obviously the pressure moment. A lot of players, no matter what the experience is, a lot of players miss clutch free throws. It happens. But I am never confident when Chet Holmgren's at the free throw line in any scenario, like at any point of the game. I'm going to just go through these kind of these free throw percentages, right? He's 75.4% on the season. He's a 78% career free throw shooter. And that's obviously just a 2-year sample. But he was also 72% in college, right? Like he's not this elite free throw shooter where you can just kind of like, lay back and chill and these two are going to go in. Chet Holmgren lets you down a lot at the free throw line. So that's something that I don't know if a lot of people realize that. I don't know how you Thunder fans feel about it when you see him at the line, but I definitely don't feel like it's a lock that he's going to knock both down. Jalen Williams, man, like part of my takeaways here for the Thunder, 5 for 20 from the field, 2 for 9 from 3. We get to the second half, and he just vanishes. Like, 2 for 13 from the field in the second half, 1 for 6 from 3. He did his job on defense, got the deflections, he got the blocks, he's getting the steals, he's doing some good things on defense, which is what we expect from him. But if you want to be a superstar in this league, which is obviously Jalen Williams' aspirations, right? You're the second guy on this team, you're the second best player, right? You're the co-star to Shea, right? You're the guy that's relieving Shea of the pressure when Shea doesn't have it or when Shea needs that extra help. That's when Jalen Williams has to show up, and I definitely think he has it in him. But when I go back and remember the Mavericks series, he had good games. He wasn't like completely horrendous, but here's a couple of games that I think OKC fans probably remember. Game 4 against the Mavs in the conference semis, 14 points, 5 for 19 from the field. He follows that up in a game 5 with 12 points and another bad game. Again, he didn't have a completely horrible series. He definitely averaged like his normal stuff, but in those moments where he was needed, he disappeared. So he does have a little bit of a Harden-esque, right? Like a James Harden-y kind of feel to him lately. And that's something that can't happen if they want to walk away from this series. And I don't want anyone to kind of come after me for saying that about Jalen Williams, especially because he's so young. But that's definitely something that's going to knock him until he gets it done, right? Like in these crucial moments that they need him. He is big time in the regular season. He's had big playoff games. So he definitely is capable of it, but they're going to need him to be huge on both ends, especially because of the fact that Chet Holmgren is probably going to suffer from an offensive production standpoint because of what they're demanding of him to do on defense against Jokic or even Aaron Gordon. So yeah, you're the number 2 guy. You got to show up, Jalen. Like J-Dub, Thunder needs you, man. Now let's get to the positives and concerns for both of these teams. I'm going to start with OKC's concerns. Rebounding. Okay, this is a team that they addressed it in the offseason. Rebounding was just an insane problem. And they addressed it with the Isaiah Hartenstein signing, right? But in this game, 63-43, right? Like that can't be something that continues for the Thunder. We know the Thunder, I think they finished like 11th in rebounding, maybe a top 10 rebounding team this season. So obviously they've definitely made good improvements there. But this is a really big team that rebounds very well. You got Jokic, the rebounding machine, Aaron Gordon, who's a rebounding machine, Michael Porter Jr., even though he's hurt, his size, his athleticism, he grabs a lot of boards as well. Russell Westbrook didn't rebound well this game, but he is just a rebound terror as a guard. Peyton Watson can rebound the ball, obviously. Christian Brown is another one of those guys that's going to scrap for loose balls and rebounds. This is a really good rebounding team that the Thunder should be very concerned about in terms of the boards. Aaron Gordon, this is another concern that I have listed for OKC. If the shot making, which I mentioned in that preview pod, if the shot making and mismatch hunting is going to continue, that's going to be a problem for them because I don't know what they're going to decide to do. If you put Chet on Aaron Gordon, probably going to go off even more. If you keep Chet on Jokic, maybe you live with the results. I don't know, man, but and then, the Chet Holmgren concern, right? Because he's being asked to, guard Jokic and maybe even Aaron Gordon, he could be in foul trouble. He could also just be gassed from being bullied down low and constantly having to, recover after he jumps up for a rebound. And, the Nuggets maybe grab another offensive rebound and Chet's just battling and just getting bumped and bruised and just, bullied so often throughout the course of a game that, how could you expect him to also have like star production, right, on offense? It's just a very taxing series for Chet Holmgren. I think this is not going to be a good series for him on the offensive end. I think he can really impact on defense, maybe even playmaking, like making the right pass and, occasionally maybe knocking down an open shot here and there. But I just don't see how he's going to really go off here. Especially when we talk about how taxed he's going to be on defense. And obviously, the other concern for OKC is Jalen Williams needs to show up. He's got to be great. I think he's got to be great if they want to come out of this series. One more concern that I have is, are we really too young? Right? Like, the Thunder are never going to admit that, right? You saw the press conference with Jalen Williams and Shea. These guys look super chill. It looked a little bit forced to me. Kind of looked like they were like putting on an image, right? But good to see that they at least look comfortable, even after a crushing loss like that. Great Jamal Murray game is still pending, so that's a concern for OKC as well. So let's get to the positives for the Thunder. First and foremost, I don't think this was a good game in terms of like OKC's standards, right? Like, yeah, Shea had a really good game. Dort showed up. Alex Caruso had a good game. Hartenstein was fine. I think he was getting away with a lot of fouls. Another positive here is the game came down to a game-winning 3 and a historic Jokic game. So, you kind of, if you're OKC, you're thinking, all right, man, 40-20, Aaron Gordon went off shooting-wise and also just in general, just being a bully, dominating. And it came down to the wire anyways. So I think that's something that you could probably think, all right, we're feeling pretty good about this. Another one is obviously this is a close game, historic Jokic thing. I talked about all that. And on top of that, it was a no-show game from Jalen Williams offensively. So I think that, and even still having a comfortable lead with all that considered, I think that's something that the Thunder can look back on and say, we're fine. And Shea looks comfortable in this series. I think that's also something that the Thunder should be very comfortable about, like very happy with, I should say. Anytime your best player looks like he's gonna be the best player, right? Like in the series for your team, I think that's a really positive thing for the Thunder. Concerns. Let's start with the concerns for the Nuggets. The Michael Porter Jr. injury, right? Or playing through the pain. That means the rotation's going to be a little thinner in terms of production, right? Like, he's still going to be out there. I think he'll still be better than what he was in game one. And for the Nuggets' sake, you hope that that's true. But yeah, I think that's a concern for the Nuggets. Like, you know, if this is the production he's going to give us because he's playing through a lot of pain, that means we're going to need these other guys to be consistent, right? Like, we're going to need these guys to have these crazy games every night to come out on top. So look out for that to be a problem. This was a really close game, obviously, through the historic Jokic game. So it's like, are they thinking, is this what we're going to need from Jokic to come out? You know, are we going to need him to drop 35 to 40 every night? You know, look out for that, right? He's totally capable of doing that. But if you want your star to put up numbers like that every single game to win a series, I don't know. Jokic foul trouble. That's another concern. You know, he had 5 fouls. People talk about the moment where the Thunder kept fouling, even though Jokic was, you know, had to be sidelined while they do their defensive stuff. And, you know, a lot of people were saying, why foul? Keep him out of the game, right? Like, just keep the flow of the game going. It's a non-Jokic offense. I think it's a fair concern to bring up if you're, you know, thinking about what the Nuggets could be worrying about. You know, the constant up and down and guarding, you know, all these guards and all these switches. It's definitely a fair concern. And then I'll get to the positives for the Nuggets, which, by the way, it's a lot of positives. Obviously, they have home court advantage now. They took game one on the road, puts pressure on the OKC Thunder to, you know, basically feel like they must win this game or the series is probably over. Because you think, are they really going to win 2 in a row to kind of try to tie it up on the road? Again, the Thunder, totally capable of doing it, but it's a very tough ask. So, definitely feeling good if you're the Nuggets on that front. Jokic, he looks more than comfortable in this matchup. And, you know, judging by how they played in the regular season and obviously how this game played out, that's probably what you expected. Aaron Gordon looks very comfortable in this series. And just from game one, it doesn't look like the Thunder are going to have answers for him. Like, they're going to have to hope that he's not shooting it well. And he could still put guys in foul trouble. Like, it's that whole interchanging thing with Chet and Hartenstein. Like, if you put Hartenstein on Jokic, which was the main thing that was happening in the regular season, part of that is because Aaron Gordon wasn't available for most of those games. You know, that means you're leaving Chet to battle with Aaron Gordon. And Aaron Gordon, man, you know, he's a lot more athletic than Jokic. Like, he will punish Chet almost just as badly as Jokic can. So I don't know what the solution is there in terms of paint, like protection, when Chet's down low trying to battle with one of those guys. You know, also another positive for the Nuggets is a pending Jamal Murray game. Like, if he shows up offensively, this team's in good shape. I think the last thing I can really think of is they won this game on the road and they didn't even shoot it well. 31.3% from 3. That's, you know, something that if you're the Nuggets, like, hey man, we didn't shoot it well. We won on the road, and Jamal Murray didn't play well offensively in terms of, you know, the shooting efficiency. Michael Porter Jr. basically gave us nothing because he's playing through pain. And, you know, we took this game. We really stole this game, right? And that could be the difference. Like, you know, a win is a win. At the end of the day, like, you could argue, you know, you could sit there and be like, you know, yeah, they took one, but OKC's got this. Like, that's just one loss. Well, that could be the difference. Like, if you know, at the end of the day, you take a win however you can get it, because you just never know how each game is going to play out. You hear it all the time about these playoff games, how every game is a world of its own, different adjustments, different looks, different production. And just different circumstances, right? So, you know, you gotta be feeling some pressure if you're Mark Daigneault and the Thunder. And this is the team that's built to sustain pressure, in my opinion. These guys are dogs, like I've been saying all year long. The defense is the best defense I've ever seen. So, you know, the depth is gonna hopefully come through for them. I fully expect the Thunder to come into this game too and honestly win very convincingly. I think the Thunder are going to win by at least 15 points. And that's going to be a statement win for the Thunder saying, look, we're here. We responded. But at the same time, Nuggets are going home. And if they lose game 2, it's a tied series. They've got home court advantage, and they're playing the next 2 games in Denver. So, Thunder have to take one out there as well if they want to take that home court advantage back. So, it's interesting times right now. The pressure is on the Thunder, and I think they will respond. I still think the Thunder are going to win it in 6. And here's one last thing I want to say about the Thunder. A lot of people know I'm supporting them, and I've been messaged by a lot of people, a lot of friends of mine, telling me, I told you, this team is young, this team's not ready. The Nuggets are experienced, they've won a title, they've got the best player in the world. That all could be true, especially talking about maybe they're too young for this run. But you know what? Every team in the history of the league has eventually had to prove otherwise. And this wouldn't be the first time a championship team loses game 1 at home. So, if OKC wants to be the championship team that I believe that they can be, or I believe that they really are, this is the obstacle they have to get across. They have to get over this obstacle. They have to face this head on and turn the shit around. And I'm fully confident that this team is going to show up in game 2 and they're going to dominate game 2. And for their sake, I hope they do it. Thanks for watching this one. This is the All Things Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.